Right. I know I mentioned this when I did my race tier list about wood elves and how they're not the Bosmer. They're maybe not the best choice for you to be making. But I really want to hit home how terrible wood elves are because I recently killed Umbra in one of my playthroughs, and Umbra is a beast. Umbra is a female wood elf located in some Ayleid rune, and she's carrying a sword called Umbra. It's the best weapon in the game. These are her statistics. She's got 100 in every combat skill. She's got 100 speed, 100 strength, 100 endurance, almost 400 health. She's level 50. She's wearing all ebony armor. And with 100 heavy armor, luckily she doesn't repair it to 125 with this armorer skill, but she's kind of a beast. If you try to kill Umbra at level 1, unless you're doing something cheesy where you let her get poisoned to death, I'd love to see you do it. She heals 2 points on her own every second. So you're not, until you get more powerful, you're not killing Umbra too easily. But that's not very realistic of other wood elves. In fact, I want to show you, there's one too. What's his name? I believe it's Gaynor Morrowind. Is that his name? Yes, Gaynor. Gaynor is a wood elf who, I can't remember exactly what happens. You disrespect him in some way. He has Fortify Luck, 500 points on self, which if you've ever played Morrowind and you fortified your luck, you know it's absolutely ridiculous in Morrowind. So he resists magicka a whole bunch, he reflects, he restores health. This is one of the hardest fights in the game. Now, if you didn't power level your character and you're not absurdly powerful, Gaynor, a male wood elf, is going to give you a run for your money. Now, that's just super unrealistic in Oblivion. That will never happen. Why did this guy piss you off? Oh, yes, he wants you to donate him vast sums of money. And you just don't do it because he starts out at 50 gold. Yeah, Morrowind is a funny game. I do love Morrowind. Not as good as Oblivion, but I mean, the fact is, he doesn't give you, if you don't give him 1,000,000 gold, he's ready to fight you. Even if you do give him 1,000,000 gold, he thinks you're a liar. But let's talk about wood elves. So the advantages that wood elves get, the big one is agility, speed, and plus 10 to marksman. You could say plus 10 to sneak too, but those are the big advantages. Beast Tongue, other than the very beginning of the game, which is really easy, is worthless. And Resist Disease, again, other than the very beginning of the game, it's not very good. And at the beginning of the game, when you go into a cave, you might need to you might get diseased and you might need to run out. But at those early caves, like the one with Earthor for the Mages Guild or other early caves, they're not so bad. It's really those late game caves, those late game Ayleid runes that are really lengthy. And by then, you have a scroll of cure disease, you have potions of cure disease, you have mandrake roots or other ingredients. It's not a concern. Disease is not a big concern in this game. Now, I don't want to read all this because I'm just going to trash on Bosmer for the next 5 minutes or so. So first, we're going to talk about their movement speed modifier. Bosmer are short. So because of that, their movement speed is multiplied by 0.9. They suck. Their bonus to speed, oh, what happened to I not zoomed in, let's zoom in. Okay, so we can read this. So I moved those multipliers to the side so they don't get in our way. A Bosmer starts with 50 speed, 5 athletics, and their starting run speed is 301.95. That's what I put right here. At 100 speed and 100 athletics, they get 468. That's what I put right here. I want you to notice that if I pick the steed sign and speed is a favorite attribute, this is their starting run speed, 329.4. I put it right here as well. You know, we could make that blue. Oh, you can't see that at all. Blue is a terrible choice. We could make that light blue. This is how fast a Bosmer starts out running. The next slowest race is an Imperial, because an Imperial only has 30 speed. They have a minus to their speed, and they don't start with athletics as a bonus to their skill. That gives them a starting speed of 311.1, higher than the starting Bosmer, still lower than the starting Bosmer with steed and speed. Now, I want to put Altmer on here because Altmer also have 30 to their movement speed. or to their speed attribute and only 5 athletics, but they run much faster than a Bosmer with the steed and speed as a favorite attribute, even without them picking those things. And an Argonian, let's go to our races. An Argonian a male, starts with 50 speed and has plus 10 to athletics, which you might think, oh, that's not very good. And I would agree. Plus 10 to athletics is not very good, but 50 speed with 15 athletics puts an Argonian at 356. So if you wanted to play a stealthy marksman type character, you could pick Argonian. In fact, an Argonian with the steed sign and speed chosen is going 389. This is a level 1 out of the sewer. That's pretty good. So we can put that down, 389.34 with my steed and speed. Argonians can go fast. Bosmer cannot. That is not an advantage that Bosmer ever have. Now, these numbers are just, if I did 100 speed, 100 athletics, these are the differences. I didn't even look at Argonian. What is it, 535? Not super important. Argonian are good because of what they start at. Bosmer are way slower than other races, late game. With late game, with restoration, I know if you play like me, you might be bumping this speed up to 200 sometimes, and maybe even getting like 120 athletics. The speed differential is over 100. It's massive. You feel that. You notice it. It's tragic, to be honest. It's absolutely devastating. That's just to talk about one of these so-called advantages that Bosmer have, is their speed boost. Now, this doesn't affect women. So honestly, if you want to play a female Bosmer, that's acceptable. I won't judge you as much, but never play a short king unless you're role-playing. Okay, the next advantage they have is plus 10 to marksman. Now, I like to play around with weapon damage. This is melee weapon damage for blade and blunt. The formula is actually quite different with arrows. So I made a different one because I was trying to just quickly convert this one to bow on a different video. It doesn't really work because what happens is you don't just add the base damage of the arrow to the base damage of the bow and then do the formula. You find the weapon rating, which is multiplying these multipliers to your bow. And your arrow doesn't include this multiplier because whether your bow is at 100 durability or 125 durability, it should not affect your arrow's weapon rating because your arrow is always just at 100 weapon health, regular weapon health. So this is with a Daedric bow, has 20 base damage, and a Daedric arrow, infinite agility, 2000 marksman skill. These cap at 100, they stop making a difference, and full fatigue, and an armorer skill of 75 or higher so you can repair your bow beyond 100 at max repair. The final damage that you will do with an arrow is 33. If you're sneaking, it's 101. That is not very good, to be perfectly frank. Umbra is doing 33 every hit. Umbra, that wood elf we talked about, 33 every, just whap, whap, whap. And if you sneak, you're doing over 200 damage with a blade. Way better than this silly bow. So marksman's not very good to start with. Second thing I wanted to talk about, and probably the last thing, and I'll be done trashing on these short losers. If the plus 10 bonus to marksman, assuming you pick thievery or whatever it's called as a specialization, assuming you put marksman as a major skill because you care about it, you get plus 10 to marksman. This is the experience needed for each level of marksman to go from 31 to 40. So you're starting with a bonus 525 experience. Now marksman gains 0.8 experience per shot. If it's a major, well, you multiply that by 66%. If it is a specialization, you multiply that further by 1.33 because it's a 33% increase. And that will give you 1.7 repeating experience per shot. That means to get from 30 to 40, you need 295 arrow shots. Now, you might think that's a lot, but really, if you've ever played marksman, you're shooting each goblin in the sewers about 5 times. So really, every mob takes 5 hits. You're killing 59 guys. That's like 2 dungeons. It's like 2 dungeons, maybe 3. If you're killing the guys fast because you're fighting weak guys, this happens really fast. you're just constantly shooting people in this game. Combat is very frequent. This is how many shots it requires to get from 5 skill to 100. Now it doesn't. You don't start at 5 skill when you pick major and specialization, so this number doesn't ever really actually apply. But I just felt like playing around with my table. So in summary, while yes, Gaynor and Umbra are really powerful, every other Wood Elf sucks, and I think it's just fake propaganda from Bethesda trying to make you be a Wood Elf. If you're a female Wood Elf, it's acceptable. You know, Umbra is cool, and I will put respect on your name. But Gaynor is fake news. Look at his name. I speak no further about that. That's all I got to say, though. Thanks for watching.